as well as discounts, so make sure you check them out. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and jump into the hills of Alpine. I'm still gonna have to be a little bit tongue-tied when it comes to the name of that, isn't it?
With plenty of rounds to go over that. And
Right.
then, of course, last but not least, we also got to thank Samsung Galaxy, right? They gave everyone the power to take Destiny and shape it the way they want to. Round number 4, though, this is going to be interesting. Well, going back to Alpine, this is a map that Expand really loves. It honestly is one of their best performing maps overall out of the entire competitive map pool. Anxiety just starting the round off by socially distancing themselves from everyone else on the lone island. But we get some early combat. I mean, Sem9, they get a very split up 3-1 split, so newbie, he's going to be under fire by KOG, but for everyone else, it feels like they have found residence in some parts of the map.
Yeah, also another team is doing that split as well, expand, just literally expanding their area of coverage there by taking control over the northern side of that southwestern island there, so just basically a good position for them to try to gatekeep anyone moving up from the bridge that links both the little island as well as the mainland. So nevertheless though, when we see what Sem9 is doing so far, I mean, again, they can kind of kick it back a little bit, but seeing the way they played the last few rounds there, I think they're just going to continue to push as hard as they can through this entire first day here to build as big as a lead as they can, so that the rest of the days when it comes to phase number 2 will be smooth sailing for them, because they were going to have a huge cushion if they're successful enough in collecting those booyahs, a huge cushion to allow them plenty of room to play out multiple different types of strategies instead of having to chase another squad. And speaking of the chase now, Sem9's newbie is under pressure here, but King of Gamers 4-man trying to go up. He's going in a 1v4 here because the Resolute squad is not around. He managed to get only one knockdown though before Kevin cuts short his little fight.
He knew that his time is going to be up, sooner or later, but actually he got first blood onto JLX, so
Yeah.
and he was the guy that split himself from his team. Fortunately for KOG, there is a revival point right at that vicinity, so they can easily bring JLX back. Sem9 not really too concerned about that loss. It was calculated, to say the least. Both these squads will get that revive going, and then we're back to square one.
Yeah. Elimination point is elimination point, whether you get it after revive point or before, it's still going to be 1 point extra to Sem9 they can contain or collect for this round here, and they're going to try to look for even more now, with ZenOP beelining his way to the big structure here, trying to see if there's any juicy good loot there to find. Now we see Expand starting to gather themselves up, and Forest Red, 3 members here so far, but then now I really want to see whether or not Expand can continue building up even more momentum. We're starting to see them climb a little bit, in the past few rounds. Now it's just really waiting for them to, rather, it just feels like a matter of time before they're going to be able to find a chance to get the booyah.
And Expand making the rotation, but VGM, Boite showing up to the party. And Axel might not be able to make it out of this alive, under a lot of fire from VGM, able to just barely slip away with a slither of health, healing himself back up, but Expand, they are very, very split up, so they might have to surrender Axel if he stops at any point. But Axel is going to rendezvous with the rest of his squad. VGM, if they keep chasing, they might run into a death trap. Thankfully for Boite, he's going to call it quits.
Yeah, so the thing is that now the ball's in VGM's court. You guys still want to commit to the fight now that we're 4-man in this one area here? I mean, better think twice a little bit. MDH in the meantime looks like their suffering is unending so far for the day here, because now they've been caught up by First Raiders, who have already knocked down one of them. Lolzy is going to be picking up his McLaren to try to force the issue here onto First Raiders. Darkall is going to get a bit of a catch out of the back here, but then he's going to be caught in the back by I Don't Cry. Lolzy is going to try his very best here to try to get a trade here onto Don't Cry, but it's going to be the other guy, Souza, who comes around from the train side in order to take one down.
Yeah, First Raiders are just relentless. They're going to try to run down the rest of MDH, and just like you said, Victor, their suffering is unending. It seems like MDH just could not catch a break. Wherever they go, they are hunted down by different squads. Souza, he is fearless, straight into the grenade launcher, gets absolutely blown up, loses his life. MDH still kicking, just barely though. They gotta get Nero back up. NP, he's gonna have some time to heal. Nero, not gonna get the same treatment, unfortunately. On the other side of the building, he will bleed out, but First Raider, they made the call to chase, and now they are gonna pay for it. Dark Darko, last man alive. He's gonna get pushed 2v1. Darko, can he win this though? Nuke takes first contact, has a glue wall to buy space, split the battle lines, and there's nothing that Darko could do. FR eclipsed, getting punished.
I mean, I wanted to say this is going to be good for MDH, but they lost 2 members at this stage now. They will be able to get 1 buyback and 2, but remember, they still have to try to find additional loot. Not say additional, but had to restart their looting process all over again. So, like I said, suffering seems to be the pattern here for MDH, and we'll see whether or not this is little challenge here is going to make them rise even harder later on, because like I said, I'm really pegging a lot of these Vietnamese squads to impress us in this phase number 2 here. So MDH is so far the only Vietnamese squad that seems to be stumbling in these opening rounds right now. They need to be able to catch a break. Maybe they could start from here.
Yeah, definitely needed those 4 points, considering that they got 0 in the last 2 rounds. Expand covering a lot of ground with those rotations. Again, sticking together as a unit, something that kind of have been begging for Expand to do, at least in those early to mid rounds. Revival point nearby, and Expand a bit more comfortable to kind of roam around the map and lift that fog of war a bit. No teams near them though. So far, Expand very much in the center of the map, with a lot of resources to work with. But
nice
Farang are running into Sem9. This is going to be crunch time for Farang. They have the high ground, a lot of advantageous angles for them to work with. Too bad, getting kind of pelted with bullets from the snipers of Sem9. Also not able to hold out for too long, but to see what Farang wants to do.
The thing is, they were hoping to try to catch Raja off guard when he was going for that loot box, but then unfortunately they weren't able to get a knockdown. So Raja slipped away. Finally, they could get a knockdown. Are they going to be able to get a clear shot to take him out completely, though? He's still close enough to the rest of his team that he potentially could get revived, though, as I think he just already did. So now VGM's going to have to shift into higher gear here and go for the full commit if they really want to take down Sem9 here, because they are still rivals for this, and if they cut down Sem9 here, this is going to add to the chances of VGM continuing to chip away at Sem9's lead.
And Farang might just be the vessel for VGM's kind of resurgence on the leaderboard. Jesbu, pretty low, needs to kind of give himself some time for the rest of his squad to catch up. And that means Newbie will also get to bandage himself up. Farang encircling this entire compound, not really the best spot for Sem9 to fight in, though. They are at a disadvantage, and you know, Farang has a member watching from long range on the bridge, and that is Spade. But if MDH catches Spade from behind, we might see kind of a turn of tides and Spade forced away from his angle. This is good news for Sem9 and bad news for Spade, because MDH are now circling him like a school of sharks, and they might just take him out. Farang, what do you have left in the tank? 2 different fights on 2 different fronts.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much going to have to fight on his own, though, because the rest of his squad is still very much tied up in the fight with Sem9. So he's all alone, an army of 1. Managed to take down 1 first, though. Can he continue to keep MDH at bay and allow his team to focus on the siege onto Sem9, with 2 members from MDH continuing to take pot shots from the top there? It's not making Farmer's job any easier, so Spade needs to try to make some moves as soon as he can. Axis, in the meantime, facing some pressure as Heavy hot drops onto them there. It looks like Heavy is coming back after some revives, but unfortunately landed into Axis's backyard.
Yeah, Expand also around. And because MDH ran into Farang, Sem9 slipped away. He's getting an extra lifeline. Can Heavy pull this out again? Buffalo was the key in the previous round, but this time they are under even more pressure with Expand looking for revenge, and Axis there to potentially help them out. Raph and Pudai both traded their lives. Buffalo taking heavy damage as well, but he's putting himself right in the front line, getting down and under. Meanwhile, getting a good kill onto Raph. Axis still trying to play this long range fight, and Heavy, they have the entire squad together. The dual wall melter is going to start really chipping away at these barricades. Tom XT feeling like he is out in the open, compelled to make something happen as Neptune suppresses Buffalo, not letting him make those big plays. Axis splitting that forces, and Expand trying to take advantage of that from long range.
That's the thing, with Axis still having a couple of members on top of that lighthouse, is making it kind of hard for even Expand to try to make an approach here, because they could be caught out by Axis's own snipers. But then they were also hoping the Heavy is going to keep them pressured. In the meantime, Dewa United gets a limited off hammer here, while Milnow continues to take shots, this time against Expand, but also keeping an eye out for Axis. The thing is quite funny that, you know, there literally is a tree between that lighthouse and the window that that member Heavy was shooting out of. Buffalo now makes a break break for that revive point. They're hoping to try to deny Axis
They can't get
control of it, but they can't really get to him though because the angle is just right there. Buffalo able to hide just behind there, so forcing to bring out a trouble.
Oh!
And that one there just worked out there. Neptune getting the knockdown there before getting knocked down himself thanks to the blue zone.
Just in the nick of time, Buffalo should be able to pick back up. Do they have any more nades? It doesn't seem like that's the case. No more time, no more Riptide Rhythm as well. That put on cooldown earlier on. Couple more ice grenades just to get those chip damage in. Heavy should be able to get out of this. The blue zone really pressuring them. You can see that Expand, they have already started moving. They are running straight into VGM. Axis kind of trapped out in the open. Buffalo will be the first one to make the move and Expand. They gotta get through VGM. It's not gonna be an easy one though. Grenade launcher in hand. Expand taking it slow. A couple of haystacks for them to take cover behind. Roy will be the first one to lead the charge, trailblazing into the territory of VGM. This is a good flank angle. If he can find it, those grenades are flushing VGM out. He finds the info. Expand coming in from the pincer. Too fast to start it off. Boite is out. Binsu couldn't land the utility the same way that Expand is doing, and now VGM, they have lesser members to work with. Binsu encircles himself with the glue wall, but too fast, chips him from the edge, takes him out. VGM slowly losing control of this skirmish. Roy looking for the third, and he has found it. Cobra down, but VGM have nothing left to fight this.
And it's especially tight when you consider there's no longer any glue walls in X-Ray's kit, and I think Expand, the rest of them not really having a lot of protection either. Not all the glue walls get burst down, and that will give the opening for Too Fast to finish up Bingsu with the grenade launcher.
Is Heavy?
So where's Heavy at the moment? Yeah, they're kind of split up at this point. You've got three of them kind of surrounding Expand, so if they decide to close in here, they might actually be able to catch them. But the thing is, Tom XC is still a little bit far out in the blue zone, and we see Too Fast actually making his way out there to try to finish him off. In the meantime, Gotsubi is going to be caught out a little bit by Nuke, taking a lot of damage on his ATV, forcing it to come out. In fact, Boiwa will get knocked down onto the ground. Nero's trying his very best to get the shots onto the rest of Anxiety though, while we see Expand trying to bring back the members into the fight right now, while Anxiety gets themselves surrounded on all sides by MDH, and with one last shot by onto Gotsubi, he's been taken out from the map.
Yeah, Heavy is just constantly under Expand skin. They stole one kill away. They confirm a kill onto Expand. Now Expand, they need to constantly be aware of where Heavy is. Jetbull getting absolutely ran over. Farang left with just Spade. And unfortunately, the direction is heading towards is into Sem9, and Sem9, they just catapulted themselves into KOG. Newbie making the call and getting the knockdown. Osaka stood no chance at all. Is this Sem9 coming online again? Osaka abandoned, but there's backup. Kevin from long range, and this was the guy that got those shots in, but watch out for Newbie. Finds another one. J-Down is gone. Kevin the third to fall, and Newbie, he is wiping out the entirety of KOG. There can only be one king, and Sem9 looks to be that one. They took the title, and they will force it out of KOG's hands. 6 kills so far, and Sem9 still kicking.
The king is dead. Long live Sem9 as they continue the chase to the final circle. In the meantime, we also lost out Farang there because the Spade has been caught, so there's no longer any more members of them to be left trying to crawl their way to the final circle, and Mildow has also been caught out, so Heavy is down to Buffalo and Tom XT. In the meantime, Raja now getting caught up by another member. This is MDH this time getting into the mix, and they seem to be quite successful in the front. Unfortunately, with Sen OP being at a distance, he was able to shoot them from the blue zone, now forcing Nuke, the last surviving member MDH, to try to run away from this fight. But then with Sem9 surrounding on all sides, and Flash as well, getting a shot from a distance, Nuke had no longer anything left to give in this map.
Has Sem9 pushed their luck too far? They are on an absolute tear, but their backs were open with this aggression, and Team Flash are taking advantage of that. Only 2 more left from Sem9, but it might just be none by the end of this. Zen OP down, Fikri out. Sem9 seemingly have met their maker, and Team Flash keeps on going.
Well, so much for Castle's Curse right there. I was saying long live Sem9, but nope. We didn't live long, actually, in spite of assassinating the king of gamers there. But Flash certainly are on a roll now, having the high ground in this circle here. That's going to give them a lot of advantage, especially against Expand, especially now that Axis has already been taken out of the equation. It is very much a 3v4 at the moment. Expand loses there too fast now. Cobra, the Axel, and X-Roy now trying to spot out Flash's positions on the hillside side here. Axel now having only those crates for cover. I don't know whether they have enough blue walls to really use in this fight though, because remember early on they burnt a lot of it trying to fight against Farang, and now against Team Flash, you know, with being up on the hill there, they really need those glue walls now more than ever, as they now burn out the last of those glue walls inside their kits. But then with Flash just constantly taking shots at the distance here, Expand, can they even advance close enough to try to meet Flash with the grenade launchers and shotguns?
They have outran the blue zone, but just like you said, Team Flash in prime position for Booyah. They're going to pressure Yanbin. Can Expand do it?
Nice.
Yanbin down. Expand getting the head start in this one, but watch out for Bloody though. This guy supporting his team from behind the boulder. Expand, they might be losing ground as well. Not out just yet. The circle not in their favor, and a good nade. If Team Flash keeping this within touching distance, it's a 2 versus 2. Is Roy at the helm of this, alongside Cobra, the close quarter combat expert from Expand, will have to do magic. Do not let Flash get the second Booyah. They're going in for the rush. One final push from Roy, straight into a grenade launcher, and it was never meant to be his in the first place. Cobra now, the miracle child of his team, and there's not much space for him to work with. Pressure from long range, rush in close range. Cobra needs to win the 1 versus 1. Gets the isolation, buy some time. Get X-Roy back up. He patches himself first. Roy is back up on his feet. The ice grenade though is there, and Team Flash just too good. 2 Booyahs in a row. Team Flash are on the board.
They are certainly up there, ladies and gentlemen. Team Flash from Vietnam, 2 Booyahs back to back now. They're establishing themselves as king of the hill here. If they can't get the king of gamers, at least this crown will do.
A blast to the past, a trip down memory lane